Anybody there hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
He's gonna give me a close number and break to the seller and see what happens. No, I'm not even 100. No, but there's evidence of mold.
Okay.
But no, I'm not. I don't specialize in that.
Well, there's mold, we gotta take care of it.
Doesn't have to do anything, but yeah, it's gotta get addressed.
Right.
If somebody could just let me know if you hear me.
I got you.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we don't hear you. I saw Sal came off mute.
I can hear you.
I'm off mute. Mark.
All right. Pretty sure you could hear me. I think we should be able to hear you now. If you can, all right, you could hear me, so we'll be able to hear you too. I'm gonna mute Sharon.
Sorry, guys. I was testing out. All right, works.
You really messed it up, Jared. Said you messed up. I'm not the host. You are. It's all right though. Let's see if I can't even exit out. No, all right, that's fine then. Hello, Yellow. We're up and running. There's an office in Indiana that actually answers their phones Yellow instead of hello, which only in Indiana can you get away with that. I think we'd laugh at it here. So today's the 16th. So tomorrow, Wednesday the 17th, is the whole Yellow campaign webinar, and it'll all be released. Like bathing, motivation doesn't last. That's why we recommend it daily. Anybody here familiar with Zig Ziglar? Anybody who was in sales a while ago certainly knows about Zig Ziglar. Every other sales coach you listen to, Tom Ferry, all the people whose names I forget, it's all really just based off Zig Ziglar. So he wrote these books. When were those books? 60s? I think the first one was in the 60s. And you could tell when you're reading it because it's old. But the only thing that has changed with Zig Ziglar versus now is the phraseology, frankly. It's the words you're using. The concepts are the same. So anyway, what Zig would tell you is you got to wake up and figure out how to get motivated every single day. Did you ever have a day you woke up, maybe an appointment you had that you really didn't want to do? Yes, right? Steve's in mortgages. I used to be in mortgages. Every client, there were like 3 spots where you had something on your desk and you dreaded calling to deal with. Dreaded. Whether it was the underwriter, most of the time it was the client. And you have to psych yourself up for that, right? This guy's going to just yell at me. And you really got to get yourself in a certain frame of mind to deal with that. And sometimes you think it's good news. Steve, how many times you're ready to call? You're clear to close. We're sending you the CD. I got to go over it with you, closing disclosure. That's like the very last thing. You have to sign what the fees are going to be for the closing. Good news. Everything's exactly the way I told you it would be. You're clear to close. We're done with the process. All you have to do is show up, sign this, and show up on Friday to close. And the weird part about the mortgage business, it's never good news to tell someone what their interest rate or their closing costs are, right? Even if everyone's prepared. So you get some motivation to do that sometimes. One of the reasons you want to work with a loan officer you can trust, somebody you work with, somebody local, is the guy at Wells Fargo is going to ignore that phone call for a week. That's why those banks take so long. Steve wants to ignore it for a week. The kids went to school today. It's my daughter's birthday. Today's not the day for this, but I can't let Lorraine down. So let me just do it. Sometimes the motivation is simply that, right? I have to be accountable. So let me figure this out. It forces you to do it. It's also why humans work best with deadlines. Do you ever have something you had to do and you let it sit around for a while until you get pretty close to that point where this has to get done and you just make it happen? And then when it's all over, you go, I should have started this like 2 weeks ago. I don't know why we waited till now. So find those things that motivate you. For some of us, that's going to be affirmations in a mirror, the old school kind of stuff. Some of us, it's, you know what, I'm getting dressed more formally than I ordinarily would. I was watching this video yesterday. A guy from like the swamp of Louisiana bought himself a suit. And he said, I've been watching Charlie Kirk and it motivated me to go to Kohl's and buy this suit. And I put it on, and you know what? I just feel like a different person today. I'm going to start dressing fancy. Now, this guy's job is probably alligator hunting. He probably won't wear a suit to work. But find those things that help you in the morning or before those phone calls to get motivated. So another way to do that is thinking about good stuff. Steve, give me something good that happened this week with you, professionally or personally. Rates went down. Where are we? Like 20% down, 740 credit score, purchase, 20% down. What are we looking at right now? High fives. That's a huge reduction. So 5 3/4 maybe. Add a point or two extra, and you're into the 5 1/4, 5 1/2, somewhere in there. Is that a reason to send out an email and a text message to your database? Hey, really good news. Rates have come down. If you've been shopping for a mortgage, it's time to relook at your pre-approval. You might have more favorable payments or higher budget. If you've already purchased a home with me, and you, of course, with my wife, you could send this as 2 separate ones. This is a great time to check with your loan officer on refinancing. You don't know where they're going to go. The loan officers are all hoping you went from 7 to 5 1/2, and then maybe in 6 months you get into 4 3/4. They get you twice. But you don't know. It's worth checking into now. Anybody else? Something good?
I got back to my 6 a.m. gym schedule.
6 a.m. gym schedule. That'll start your day off different.
3 days at 6 a.m. and then I go Saturday at 8 a.m. So 4 days. Bruce, you got some good news.
Yeah, just got my pass on the exam.
State exam. Awesome.
And,
Congrats.
I paid for it on the state, and so you guys should get that done.
Awesome. Congrats. Awesome. What'd you think of the test? Did you think it was hard?
No.
It's not, right? The hardest part is Lorraine's like, all right, it was hard for me. I guess what does that say? It's not really a hard test. The hard part usually is you haven't taken a test in decades like that, a multiple choice, Scantron. Bruce, you just did it. I had to take it. I took it again like 10 years ago. Doing your name with the bubble, I forgot how to spell my name halfway through because you're spending so much time looking for the letters. You're like, what comes after S? E. No, there's no F in Joseph. So that was not hard. And there's almost no math. You spend so much time on real estate math.
I even left my calculator in the car, and I said, I'm looking at everybody's got their calculator. You didn't need it.
It's 2 questions. It's easier with a calculator, but you could get those 2 wrong. It really doesn't matter.
You also use a pen, and all your years in school, you were taught to use a number 2 pencil. So it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Did you take it in Hauppauge?
Yeah.
So you go through security, and there's that long, like you got to walk to the other end of the building, and you're like, there's no way I'm in the right place. And then you see the stairs.
I went down to the cafeteria to get a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I had known this lady who used to work at 445 Broad Hollow.
Okay.
Up by the
Yep.
quadrangle. There's Florian Food Service. And she's been going from there for years, and I retired from there. But she was in the basement working down there. So it was nice to see
Nice.
her catch up again.
It's nice to have a friendly face right before you go take a test you have some anxiety about, and then you're like, what was I even worried about?
Testing is getting into the mind.
Yeah. Like everything else, being in the right frame of mind. Awesome. Maria, anything?
I'm too tired. I don't know. I had high school reunion with all the grades from Massapequa and Verona.
Nice.
Saturday at It's packed. This is awesome.
I'd like to give you something, but I'm not all that sure I have anything at the moment. I don't know. It's a crazy week. Don't join your school board. Steve, do you want to talk now? You want to talk at the end? Come on up.
You better be entertaining.
I try.
You got a big Zoom crowd. Talk it out.
Gotta be in front of the computer. So first thing is, the picture on the screen is the old company, so it's fair, that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's Fairway Mortgage now, which is on Conklin Street in Farmingdale. You could walk there from this office. But I'm happy that you brought up rates, because that's kind of my least favorite thing to talk about, but it is important right now. So a couple of things. The Fed meeting started today. The rate cut's gonna be announced tomorrow, Everybody's prediction it's going to be lowered by 25 basis points, by a quarter point. I don't expect that to have any impact on mortgage rates. I don't
Already
expect that because, correct, it's already happened. It's already been priced in. If for some reason they lower it by 50 basis points, maybe there's a little bit of a difference there. But the last time they lowered the Fed rate, for a small period of time, mortgage rates actually ticked up a little bit. So don't be surprised if you see that. I hope that doesn't happen again. But I think it's already priced in. Today's another good day. And the last time that I was quoting rates that were in the fives was years ago. So that's a nice conversation to have, but people still want more, right? But one of the big things that I want to bring up, and I'm going to leave some information in the office if it's okay with you about it, is forever and ever in the mortgage world, there's always been a program called like a buy down program. And basically what it is you take an amount of money up front, you give it to the bank, and they'll lower your interest rate for the first year or two, right? For the first year or two, so you have a more affordable payment. The problem I always had with that program and why I never really spoke to it is because it either had to be financed by the buyer or the seller. In this market, there's no seller giving you $10,000 to subsidize your interest rate. They just want all the money, and they can do that in our area, right? As a buyer, if you're going to pay money to lower your interest rate, you might as well just pay points. Why are you going to give the bank money to lower your interest rate for 2 years or a year, and then it goes back up to whatever that rate might be at the time you go to closing? I bring it up now because for the first time in me ever doing this in over 20 years, we are offering through November, they're going to continue it, but it's a rollout, an initiative that we have. No cost to the buyer, no cost to the seller, no catch involved, any conventional loan. It could be, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer, but any conventional loan, we, the bank, Fairway, is subsidizing the cost. So we're going to take our money up front, we're going to put it to the side, and let's say your interest rate today is 6%. For the first year, you pay an interest rate of 5.5%. It's that simple. So on a $550,000 mortgage, that's about $175 a month in somebody's monthly payment, which is a lot of money in this market because people are tapped out. The prices that these homes are going for, I see it every day. I wouldn't want to be a home buyer in this market, quite honestly, but people are still buying. So depending on your mortgage amount, and by the way, a $550,000 mortgage amount, not a lot, right? I would say the average loan size this year is between $550,000 and $600,000 on average. So giving out $800,000 mortgages right now, it's not like that. I was like, wow, that's you're going for everything. That's not that uncommon in this market. So when you get to those higher loan amounts, you might see $200, $250 a month in savings, and there truly is no catch or no cost to it. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. We're taking care of it. The thought process behind it is always something behind it, right? Is everybody's feeling is that rates are going to continue to go down next year. So by the time your rate goes up that 0.5% that you lost for the first year, our goal is you're going to refinance with Fairway Mortgage, and we're going to keep your mortgage, and we're going to service your mortgage, and we'll make money on the interest that's due every single month. So that's Fairway's reason for doing this. They also want to capture market, right? It is a hard market right now. We're all scavengers. We're all going out hunting every single day. There's always somebody else calling you. I'm sure of it. There's always somebody on your phone trying to get into your office, get into your network. So anything that we can do to be that resource, and like he said, the local resource. We're literally down the road. You can walk to our office from here, okay? Anybody that's
Let's
not
be frank, neither me or you are walking.
well, I'm not going to walk there. Right. I'm not going to walk
Jared,
there.
maybe instead of
Right. You can do it maybe when you go to the gym at 6 in the morning. I'm in like deep ram at 6 in the morning. Yeah. I'm ram at 6 in the morning, so I'm not walking there, but you could. It's great stuff. If anybody's not familiar specifically with Fairway, it used to be Academy Mortgage. That was on Conklin Street for probably 15 years. And then the person who owned Academy decided to sell, and we went to Fairway. I joined with him. I am local to the area, but that's really what I want to get in front of people right now, because as much as I hate talking about interest rates, it's a wonderful program, and there's no catch and no cost to it for buyer or seller. Seller doesn't even know it's happening. The other thing I just wanted to really quickly touch on is closing costs. Again, the conversation that you really don't like to have. But I was talking to a few people over the weekend. They said, what are my closing costs going to be? I'm a big fan of overestimating what somebody's closing costs are going to be. I never want to tell you 20,000 and then at 25, you'll never take my phone call again. I'd rather sell 30,000 and make it 25. People like me then, right? At the end of the day, I want to shake your hand and see a smile on your face when you go to closing. That said, to have $30,000 in closing costs, somebody said that's really steep. That's not steep. $30,000 is a pretty good average of what closing costs are in New York, because one of the big reasons is you have a state mortgage tax, there's no getting around, and you have to fund your escrow account for your taxes and insurance, and taxes in this area just happen to be super expensive. So that takes up usually about $12,000 to $13,000 of what your closing costs are. I try to tell people with your escrow account, it's really not a closing cost, it's a cost of closing, because you're not paying money to a third party for a service. You're just funding your own taxes and insurance in an account that's actually in your name, held with the mortgage company. So when people start talking to you, if they ask you, because I know they come back to all of you and say, well, the closing costs are $30,000. Yeah, that's not a crazy number. I bought my house in 2019. I do this for a living. My closing costs were $43,000. So they're big numbers here. I just happen to have something with a little bit more in taxes, and that's why it was so much more. The other reason it was so much more is in this market, you all know, the more money you put down, the stronger, right, your offer is. That's what everybody thinks. I don't believe in putting 20% down. I never put 20% down on any house that I ever purchased. You always are going to have a mortgage insurance, but your mortgage insurance can be paid monthly on a conventional loan, or you could pay it as a one-time fee up front. I paid it as a one-time fee up front on my mortgage. It cost me about $4,000 at the closing, but it was never a part of my monthly payment. I never had to go to my bank and say, hey, can you remove the mortgage insurance? I think I have enough equity. It's never a conversation to have. So a lot of times when you have better credit and you're not putting 20% down, it's another way to maybe lower your mortgage payment, pay the money up front. And if you did the math, it actually typically works out that if you pay it up front, you'll actually save a lot of money over time. So again, good conversations to have with people, things that people don't talk about, things that honestly a lot of buyers don't know that they have the ability to accomplish, okay? And this has all happened because it is a tough market for people. If your mortgage insurance is gonna be $175 a month, you pay $4,000 up front, you get rid of $175 a month, that's a lot of money for some people. It's a lot of money for some people. So that's really what I wanted to get in front of you today to talk about. Again, the things that I don't like to talk about, but there is some positive news with interest rates. That program that I'm talking about with the 0.5% lower, it's simple. Anybody who's coming to me for a conventional loan, that's the program we're giving. There's no reason not to. Why not save a little bit of money every month for the first year?
Steve, agents that are working with buyers, that's going to be a conversation. Is you can refinance down the road. The agent's not really going to get in the weeds and benefit the borrower, all that stuff. But just talk about how you calculate whether or not it makes sense to refinance with doing closing costs, how long you plan on living there. That way an agent can just give a little bit of an idea of like, hey, you can refinance later. You can talk to Steve about the dollars and cents of it, but just kind of speak to it a little bit of when it might make sense and when it might not.
So the rule of thumb throughout time is people always said, if the interest rate goes down a full percent, right, that's a good time to look into it. I think that that's the right number outside of New York. In New York, with the closing costs, with your escrows, I think sometimes it might even have to be a little bit more than 1%. I'm going to tell you 1% on a $500,000 mortgage will probably save you about $450 a month. So it's a lot of money. The other thing is people who are buying now, obviously we all hope that homes keep appreciating. So if you don't put 20% down, if you do have a monthly mortgage insurance, a year from now, your home appreciates. Maybe you get rid of the mortgage insurance, so it's even more than just your principal and interest savings. I think it really depends on the specific person. I've read an article today that the credit card debt in America is $1.15 trillion now, which is just a ridiculous number. I've had more refinances in the past 2 years for people taking a higher mortgage rate, right? They would go from 3% to 6.5%. Their mortgage payment goes up $1,500 a month. Sounds crazy. They paid off $75,000, $100,000 in credit cards. And after they take their credit card savings, they're still saving $1,500 a month, even though their payment went up $1,500. So it's really specific to any one person. 1% is a good guide to say, hey, maybe this is something we want to look into right now. We used to tell people that if your closing costs, if you paid yourself back your closing costs within 4 years, 4.5 years, it's probably a good time to do it. We're in uncharted waters with where rates are and where prices are compared to ever before. And my true hope is that people can only refinance once and they don't have to do it twice. Like Joe, like you said before, we want to hit them at 5.5% and then again at 4.75%. If there is a way to time it so somebody only has to pay those closing costs one extra time, I would love to see that happen. There's just no way to really know the market. There are a few savings when you refinance. You could do something called a SEMA. It's a savings on your state mortgage tax, which is an expensive number in New York, your state mortgage tax. And then you can also sometimes roll over your escrow account. Again, a big cost of closing. And if you have a current escrow account with us and we can roll it over to your new loan, you don't have to finance it. You don't see the dollars and cents out of your pocket. And that's another way to possibly reduce closing costs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Simple.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks, Steve.
Awesome.
You never know when you stand up, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It usually does, though. It usually does.
This is the best my back's been in a couple of weeks, so can't complain. Congratulations, Ed Gebhard. That was not an easy one. House had an open violation. It had a giant hole in the backyard that was called the swimming pool. And this person, we run into this a lot. And it's one of those, there's certain transactions that make you feel kind of good as a human. So these people, when we met them, it's somebody Ed knows from a sphere. We were talking about that last week. I'm thinking about just selling it cash to a builder. Well, tell me about that. What does that mean to you? I don't know. If I could get even $550 for it, I'd be happy. Maybe $525. A lot of people would just say, all right, I have somebody for that. Let me get you an offer. Look what we actually got them, $635. They didn't realize that even though the house had a violation on it, some open permits, wasn't as hairy as they probably thought. Big hole in the backyard with a bottom of sand, that used to be a built-in pool. It still had a lot of value. Because what is this house worth fully redone? $750. If it's gutted, probably $800. So there's still some value in there, and we got them a good price. So great job, Ed. Rich sold 91 Beverly Road, new construction, $990 in Babylon. Oh, I'm sorry, just listed. It'll be sold soon. So this is the wide line colonial. It's really a big house. You got a big kitchen, little den off to the side, dining room and living room, half bath, 2-car garage upstairs. It's gonna be 4 bedrooms, laundry, 2 baths. So you got the master suite, and Babylon's Babylon. That's always a good spot. I got 19 Parkview Circle pending. That's a trust sale, and we asked $699. We ended up getting $725. So did pretty well on that one too. A lot of buyers came out for that house. Three home inspections scheduled. One canceled the morning of. The first one bailed, and here we are. That's it. One of the things I did on this, and I think you should keep it in mind, is we made it TOM. So we had, 20 offers, most of them at and over ask, most of them over. I could have kept showing this, and usually I say what? Keep having the open houses. Don't take your foot off the gas. But what would have happened if those deals fell through? And now I'm 3 weeks on the market. What kind of offers are you getting at 3 weeks? Are you getting 725 offers? Maybe not. You're going to get 700s, 690s, 675s. So I wanted to create or to show evidence to potential buyers that nope, it was off the market and now it's back on. So it'd be kind of fresh. So if you have that multiple offers where we were able to just go offer 1, he bailed. Offer 2, bailed. Offer 3, stuck. If the third one didn't work out, what would I have done? Put it back on the market, had their open house. Oh, it didn't work out with the attorneys. Yeah.
You mentioned TOF and you mentioned it was a trust sale. Can you explain that?
TOM means temporarily off the market. It's not
TOM.
being marketed. So it's actually it's a multiple listing term. If you're not showing the house, you're not supposed to leave it as available. So if it can't be shown, they want realtors to be able to look and say, this house is on the market available. I can make an appointment for it. Because it kind of sucks when you're working with a buyer and every house you go, oh, we're not showing, right? Well, it's showing available. I thought it was available. So that just means you take it off. It also, at least on the MLS, shows there's a pending offer. The other time you see it is after a hurricane. You'll see a lot of houses go TOM by the water. They had floods. That's what happened there. Clean it up quick before any buyers see, which is going to be a lot harder with the new property condition disclosure. Trust. There's a few different ways you could own a property. You could own it in your name. You could own it in a corporation. Pretty straightforward. Third way is you could own it in a trust. Very wealthy people put all their assets in a trust. So if I get sued, you could sue me, but my house is not owned by me. It's owned by my trust, similar to a corporation. These are not rich people, so that's not why they did it. They did it, and it's very common, and it's something people should set up as they get older. In New York State, if you need a nursing home, that's not going to be covered by any insurance. You either have to pay out of pocket. If you're unable to pay out of pocket, Medicaid will pay for it. Medicaid doesn't just say, which is a social service program, all right, we're paying for long-term care while you own a asset worth $700,000. They want that money. Pay that money first, and then we'll pay for your nursing home. So the way they do it is they pay and they lien your home. They have a 5-year look back. So this gentleman ended up in a nursing home. If he didn't have it in a trust, they would have calculated how much of the money from this house they deserve. And they will go back. If you move the house 2 years ago into your kid's name or into a trust, they're going to claw that money back. So it puts you in a bad spot.
Did you have any difficulty with people understanding that you were selling to or the mortgage?
No, it's fairly common, but it's really not a function for the buyers didn't know. They don't know who they're buying it from. They have to just assume that the person selling it has the authorization to sell it. Where it's going to come up is with the attorney, because the contract is going to come over not from Joseph Hernandez, but from the Hernandez Family Trust. Any attorney in America should immediately know exactly what's going on. If not, check that they actually are an attorney. And then the title company is going to verify all that, because what if I claimed my name was Jared Garcia and I took his house and I put it on the market and I go to a closing and we look a lot alike and I get a fake ID. I go to Roosevelt Avenue, I get a fake ID. Who would know? So it's the title company's job to confirm the name on the contract owns it. There are no liens. There's no reason not to sell it. And the people who are signing the documents are either the person or have the authorization to sign. And then they give you the title insurance. So if there is a deed fraud, deed scam, the buyer doesn't get screwed. Nobody gets screwed. Well, the title company gets screwed, but we don't care about them. They used to give us Yankee tickets. They don't anymore. So who cares? So that's where that would come up. Weikert Spark, man, that is coming up really quick, Jared. I think it's just me and you, right? Al threatened to go, but I don't think he did. Yeah. So Jared and I, we have a different order. We start with this as number one. Go have some fun. All my friends are very jealous. Like, wait, so once a year, you and your brother just go away without your wives or kids or anything? No, we're not going away. It's a business meeting.
I'm in.
All right, awesome. So Albert's going to be there too. New ideas. That's the reason. It's sparked that little, thing that you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. Motivation. We talked about it with Zig Ziglar. What is the motivation? Now, you don't always have, Lorraine, you're not coming to this convention, but what can you find online? What other resources are there to get the same thing? Learn from some smart people. Jeff, David, Brian are all using Zig Ziglar's stuff. They come up with new words and then they package it up and say it's something new. That doesn't make it bad, but it's all based on the same principles. You know what is another book that really it's all based on is how to influence. What is that book? How to influence people and
Win friends and influence people.
win friends. And influence people. There you go. So it's all kind of the same stuff. Networking, find ways to network, whether that's Long Island Board of Realtors events, whether that's office events, you want to build your network. Talked about the Facebook group, Weikert for Life. I think everybody here has heard that a couple times. Market absorption rate. Whole bunch of houses came on the market in Farmingdale. Awesome. There's only 20 on the contract. Oh my God, we're trending into a buyer's market. Probably not. These people can't buy houses until those people list them. So you will see these bumps. What we'll look at is next week, they had a whole bunch of stuff come off the market. And I suspect we'll be back into the 1 point something. But even at a 2.1, what do we have? Seller's market. We take how many houses went into contract in the last 30 days. We divide it by how many houses are on the market. We divide it. You get an absorption rate. Sometimes people will call that, especially in the news, days on market. So it's kind of, it is the same thing. Supply of housing. Days on market for the 20 houses that went into contract, on average, they were only on the market for 19 days with an average price of $682,000. Huntington, 2.8. Huntington's a huge zip code. Lots of different housing, almost 800,000. Merrick, 2.8 for 784. Lindenhurst, 2.2 for 600. Steve, how much is your payment going to be different on 100,000?
Every 10,000 is about $55. So
$600. So if you got somebody who's tight, you want to bring them out a couple towns east, and that's a very common theme. You catch them in one town. Oh, I'm looking to buy in Bethpage. All right, let's go look at the 3 dumpy houses in Bethpage for $799. I'm sorry, $699, and they're all going to go for $725. What do you think? These need too much work. I can't buy them. All right, maybe we'll try Farmingdale. I guess we could look at a couple houses in Farmingdale, and now you have a whole new market. It's still just not good. Do you ever think about Lindenhurst? It's only 12 minutes from Bethpage. Maybe we get something really nice for $700,000, and you can.
The other thing,
Bring them out.
The other thing to that I'll say is, depending on the area you're looking, it's amazing how much of an impact taxes have on your payment too per month. So $1,000 a year in taxes is $83 a month. So think about that. $15,000 in purchasing power is almost the equivalent of $1,000 a year in real estate taxes. So
And that's why you ever look at Hicksville and you go, why are those houses selling for so much? It's not much different than Bethpage or Farmingdale, frankly, right? As far as like the way the streets look and the houses look, but they're going for more money. Oh, well, it's because they want to be by certain stores. No, it's because the taxes in Hicksville are much lower than in Bethpage and Plain Edge and Massapequa and Farmingdale, so they can pay more. California, an average house might sell for about $1 million. Not in LA, but like in just south between LA and San Diego, which is kind of no man's land. The houses will sell for $1 million or more. The property taxes there are like $6,000 a year. They have higher income tax. They fund the schools with that. They have county-wide school systems, but taxes will have a big part of it. Rich, who most of us know, back when he owned real estate offices, he had 2 Century 21s, one in Massapequa, one in Lindenhurst. Massapequa is where they got all the buyers. Lindenhurst is where they sold all their houses. Because what would happen, especially back in like 1910 when he was doing this? He's not here, right? There was no internet. So you drove to the real estate office and you walked in. Now the only people who walk in are maniacs. You walked in, you say, hi, I want to see if I can talk to somebody about buying a house. And you have the loan officer pre-approve them for $75,000. That's not going to be enough in Massapequa. Well, listen, we have another office in Lindenhurst. We got a whole bunch of listings. Why don't you come back tomorrow? I'll find out what we have available, because that's how it worked. Like, you needed a piece of paper to know what was for sale. And then they would go there and be able to buy a house. So that's been the way it's worked for centuries, probably. Nobody wanted to move to Massapequa. Nobody wanted to move to Long Island. They wanted to be in Queens, but you couldn't afford it, Queens. So they came out to Long Island and bought a brand new 5-room Cape, and put 9 kids inside of it with 1 bathroom and, 60 by 100, but no one had fences. It was okay. 2 doors this week. Great job. That's the listing presentations. Alessandra did the podcasts, worked in the podcast studio this past week, talked about a prior career and how that transitions to real estate, how she can help investors, sellers, buyers. If you want to do some video, we could get you down there, do some filming, chop it up into something usable, really forever. That never goes away.
See, that's the podcast.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Gotcha. Looks good.
It looks better on video than the picture.
Yeah, it looks good on the picture.
All right, good. Wednesday webinars tomorrow, Hello Yellow, and then organize your database next week. My Weichert record.
So they changed the layout a little bit on the contact record and the dashboard. So I think it's good, but anything new, it's a little confusing at first.
All right, well, we will share this instead. It's really the same. It's just a different look and feel. But we'll share it. We'll put that in the WhatsApp, the actual link to YouTube. Office inventory, Monroe Boulevard, Long Beach is available. Sheffield Avenue, which is pretty similar to the picture I showed you, the one in Babylon, at 849. Gale Grace Court and Copeg, a little, it's more the square colonials. 224 Yoakum Avenue in Farmingdale. Split, that's Albert's, available. 153 Biltmore Boulevard in Massapequa, that's right off Massapequa Cove on one of the canals, waterfront. Splanch for 1.425. 91 Beverly Road in Babylon, 990. And 23 West Mill Drive is coming soon. It'll be available soon. We've been hearing that for 3 months, so they're almost done. Seaford Rental, if you have anybody, 1-bedroom apartment, fully furnished. I don't know if Alessandra's on here to tell us about, or Albert is. So Albert, how was your open house this weekend?
It was good. I had 8 on Saturday, and I believe Alessandra had 6 or 7 on Sunday.
Nice. So you're getting good traffic. Make sure when those buyers come in, if they're not going to buy that house, you try to convert them into your buyers. 2 Gale Grace Court, he had 4, which is pretty good for an expensive house. And Terry over in Massapequa. Your personal brand. I don't know if you know this. There's a lot of real estates in the office, right? There's a lot of real estate companies, a lot of real estate agents. So you got to stand out. You need a personal brand. Oh, Jared, do you want to give a 1-day code to that guy? One minute, guys. Sorry. Wall Street. And he's saved his 18 wall agent. So we have documents to help you sell yourself. How can you connect? How does Albert connect with 8 people who come to a house who don't like the house? That's where sales really comes in. The old Zig Ziglar stuff. You need to convert them. You got to sell yourself. So it comes down to personal branding. So you get a Weichert U and you start building your brand. Right over here, you'll see personal brand. What? 7415. You're going to find a list of materials when you log in here. So they're right here. Personal brand overview. You got your logbook standards, your fonts, all that good stuff. Did you ever, we talked about video. So the people who have done those videos you share on social media, it's a good way to build your personal brand online, right? You can't hand someone a printout of a video. It doesn't exist. So you do still need to have printed materials. Do you ever go and do a consultation, whether it's a kitchen, flooring, furniture, whatever, even your doctor, right? You want to leave with something if you don't have that paperwork. It's why are we still doing business cards? Everybody's carrying around a computer in their hand where they could save numbers. Because it's kind of like at some point, without getting something, it's not real. From frenzy to normal. Well, in Farmingdale right now, if you have 40 houses on the market available, is that market going to feel a lot closer to normal than market where there's 19? Absolutely. 50% of homes in the country are selling for less than their asking price. You even heard Steve talking about, well, in New York, this is what we're looking at because it's still different here. So that's very different. 2005, there you are. It's not as different, though. The media is making it sound like the South, you can't even sell your house. Well, it was 45% last year. 2019, it's 55%. We're not even back to pre-pandemic numbers. So the sky is not falling. But what are the buyers hearing? Somebody who just they just got engaged. They're thinking about buying a house because that's what everyone told them they should do. They call Steve to get pre-approved. Then they come to us. Yeah, I want to buy a house, Lorraine. I heard it's a great market for buyers. Is that true? No, it's a little better than it was. But is it a great market? It's still brutal. It sucks to be a buyer. But that's not what they're hearing. Worse, it's not what their parents are hearing because who are they listening to right now? Their parents. Oh yeah, offer like 45% less than that ain't happening. It's important to price properly though, very important. In the last 5 years, would an agent make a mistake by underpricing a house? Would that be a mistake? Could you screw your seller by underpricing a house?
People are gonna pay, yes, they wanna pay for it.
When you have a line of 50 people outside and they all offer 800,000, guess what the house is worth? 800,000. What did you list it for? 700. Did you mess up your seller? No, the market's going to correct the price. If you list it for 800, it's worth 700. What's going to happen? The market's going to correct your price. You're going to get 700. I would caution you though, in that example, once you miss the beginning of the market by pricing at 800 and you start doing that reduction over time, you're playing catch up. You're playing defense. That's where you could hurt your buyer, your seller. So make sure your seller understands, is this kind of data important to talk about with a seller? Yeah. You know, in New York, we're still seeing it being really strong. However, when you look at regionally and nationally, we are starting to see some softening in the market. So I don't want you to be too surprised if some offers are coming in under ask. One of the best ways we can make sure we get you the top price is by pricing properly and pushing everyone a little over. Does that sound good? The ideal formula is make sure everybody knows what's happening. If 50% of the houses are selling for less than asking, what are the other half selling at? Asking and over. Is any of this new? We got to price the houses correctly. How do you know you priced it correctly? You sell it, right? Prep your house, price strategically, and stay flexible. Prep your house, make it look good and smell good. That's always been true. Get it looking the best it can. Do we recommend they paint the whole house, replace carpets, and redo the bathroom? No, they're going to lose money that way. Also, they've lived in the house for 30 years looking the way it does. They don't have the motivation, the capability, the money to do what you just recommended. The house is the house. Fix what's broken. If you have a bathroom, it's not bad, but the vanity, it looks like these cheap vanities, they melt over time. I don't know what happens to them, but like they're just melting in front of you if they get water and stuff. Hey, I have some people, kind of handyman style, they could just come in and bring like a $200 vanity and it won't cost a lot. And then the bathroom will look usable for the next, 5 years. Fix what's broken. Maybe there's one room you really needs paint. Get the one room painted. Prep the house. Get rid of the furniture. The more of it you could get rid of in the beginning, the better. Every house in Long Island is too small. This isn't Texas where everything's 3,000 square feet. Less is more. Price strategically. Get the pricing right. Be a little under. Stay flexible. Lorraine, I want you to understand, thanks so much for the listening. I really appreciate the confidence you put into me. I do understand what that means, and I'm going to do everything I can to live up to the trust you're putting into me. What I want you to know is the next step is after we get it listed and we have the open house, will be to review offers. When we start getting offers, unless it's absolutely completely ridiculous, even if it's less than asking, we're going to be giving counter offers. So we're not going to get offended because somebody made a low offer. We don't know what they're hearing about in the news, what their dad is telling them. But, we don't just assume that buyer is a maniac and isn't going to buy the house. Do you understand what I'm talking about? What question might they ask? Lorraine's like, I'm still going to say, screw them. What are we probably going to hear? Oh, all right, that sounds good. The more you set the stage in the beginning, the more they agree with. They're putting a lot of trust in you, so they're going to trust what you're saying. Get the agreement in the beginning. And then they probably say, well, what would we consider an absolutely ridiculous price? Anything under 200,000, we would consider totally ridiculous. We won't bother countering. Oh, that's pretty ridiculous. That's my point. We're going to try working with everybody. We never know who our buyer is going to be. Don't fall behind in the market. You want to understand what the buyers are hearing, what the buyers are talking about, and then make sure we have the right strategy to get your house sold. And it's really important we do that, frankly, in those first two weeks. Do you want to still be sitting on a listing 45 days in? Is that a good place to be? No. It's always better to sell it quick. It's another thing you should be prepping your sellers on because it's happened to a lot of us. You have the open house, you get 3 offers, maybe you get 1 offer. Oh boy, we're a little off because I would expect some more offers, but we got 1, it's full price. Lorraine, good news. We only got one offer. People, the peeling paint and the smelly bathroom really turned off a lot of people. But we did get one offer. I was able to convince them there's a lot of interest. We did have a lot of people looking at the house. So I think we're ready to go forward. We should let them do the home inspection. We could still have another open house this weekend. What does that seller often say? Well, that's a different problem. I don't know. It feels too quick. Maybe we should wait and see if we can get more. Are they going to get more if the first weekend you did it in proper marketing? The open house was posted on Tuesday. You had 12 people come in one offer. Is another week going to help them? It's going to hurt them because that first offer might say, they might be working with someone like Lorraine. Screw them then. They don't want my offer. I don't want to buy their house. It's amazing how quick people could get offended. They think sometimes, well, shouldn't this be taking longer? Like, what if there's somebody else willing to pay more? So you want them to understand we want to hit it in the beginning, that's a better place to be. Let's see if we can get the minute with Mark. Verizon's having major problems. The county's having major computer problems. I think there's something going on. This is the best I've heard him in a while. Who's got anything coming up? I'm meeting with Ed today to go look at a house in Garden City. That's probably going to be priced somewhere around $799. It's a fixer-upper. Well, not terrible. Well, we'll see soon. That's coming up. I have pictures tomorrow of the house in Wantagh for $819. That's a Levitt Farm Ranch with a huge rear extension, a lot of upgrades. Really nice house. Anybody else have something coming up? House in Amityville Village. What's that going to be priced at? Mid-sixes. So that's a good price. Anybody working with any buyers that trying to find something? I have an investor looking for a rental home. So if you have anything that's got a basement apartment in it or something, that's kind of his that's what he likes to buy. No condos anymore. I bullied him into buying a townhouse and he hates me for it. So that's that. All right, everyone have a good week, and we're here if you need us.
Thank you.
1,500.
You got it.
Top of my budget.
Thank you.
So the fast track started before I was able to sign up. I had 8 for the last 10 years. So
Chunk of 12 a bit more.
I heard enough to 8. I said, I heard